The sky was a deep shade of indigo, the stars flickering faintly above the bustling cityscape of Sicily. YN took a slow sip of her cocktail, the chilled liquid burning down her throat as she leaned against the railing of the rooftop lounge. The warm Mediterranean breeze played with her hair, making her shiver slightly despite the heat. The vacation was supposed to be an escape, a break from the monotony of her life. But something about tonight felt wrong. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, like invisible eyes were tracing every move she made. And she wasn't wrong. Taehyung sat in the dimly lit VIP section of the club, his sharp, hypnotic eyes locked onto her. The amber glow of his whiskey glass reflected in his gaze, but the fire burning within them had nothing to do with the alcohol. "I finally found you," he murmured under his breath. Beside him, his right-hand man, Youngwon, shifted slightly. "Are you sure it's her, boss?" Taehyung's jaw clenched. "I'd recognize her anywhere." For years, he had searched for her. He had traced blurry images in his mind, trying to remember the softness of her face, the way she had unknowingly walked into his life years ago. YN turned away from the railing, deciding to leave. But the moment she stepped towards the exit, her path was blocked by two men in sleek black suits. "Miss YN," one of them said with a polite yet firm tone. "Come with us." A chill ran down her spine. "Excuse me." The man's expression didn't change. "Our boss would like to have a word with you." "Your boss," she repeated, glancing around. Her heart pounded. She was in a foreign country, alone, surrounded by strangers. "I don't know who your boss is, but I'm not interested." The second man took a step closer. "It's not an invitation." Her breath hitched. Panic surged through her veins, but before she could react, a strong hand wrapped around her waist from behind, pulling her against a hard chest. A deep, velvety voice whispered against her ear. "I've waited too long to let you walk away, Pookie." Her body froze. The scent of expensive cologne and something undeniably intoxicating filled her senses. She turned her head slightly and met the dark, piercing eyes of Kim Taehyung. Her breath caught in her throat. He was devastatingly handsome. His sharp jawline, tousled dark hair, and slightly parted lips, making him look like he had stepped out of a dream. But his gaze was anything but soft. It was possessive, dangerous, and intense. "Who the hell are you?" she demanded, trying to push him away. His grip tightened, his lips curving into a smirk. "You'll find out soon enough." Before she could scream, everything went black. YN woke up in a dimly lit room, the scent of leather and expensive wood filling her nostrils. Her body ached slightly, and as she sat up, her head spun. Where was she? Panic set in as she took in her surroundings. The massive bedroom was unlike anything she had ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean, silk sheets beneath her, a chandelier casting a golden glow. The sound of footsteps made her whip her head towards the door, and then he walked in. Kim Taehyung, now dressed in a crisp black shirt with the top buttons undone, revealing a hint of his toned chest. He looked even more intimidating than before, his sharp gaze locked onto her, unreadable yet intense. "You're awake," he said, his deep voice sending shivers down her spine. YN's hands clenched into fists. "Where the hell am I?" Taehyung walked towards the mini-bar, pouring himself a drink with an infuriating calmness. "My house," her eyes widened. "You kidnapped me." He took a slow sip, then set the glass down. "I prefer the term borrowed." Rage and fear twisted inside her. "Let me go," he sighed, as if her request was mildly annoying. "I can't do that, Pookie." "Stop calling me that," she snapped. Taehyung smirked. "I like the way it sounds." She glared at him. "Why did you bring me here?" His expression darkened slightly, and for the first time, she saw something flicker in his eyes: obsession, desire, possession. "You have 365 days to fall in love with me," he said, stepping closer, his voice slow and deliberate. "Taehyung, if after that you still want to leave, I'll let you go." YN's heart pounded. "You're insane." Taehyung leaned in, so close she could feel his warm breath against her skin. "Maybe," he whispered, "but you're mine now." Her stomach twisted. She should be terrified. She was terrified. But deep down, something about the way he looked at her made her feel like she was teetering on the edge of danger. And something thrilling, and that terrified her even more. YN sat on the massive bed, her mind racing. 365 days. He had to be joking. This was insanity. Her gaze darted around the room. The windows were too high to jump from. The door, locked, no phone, no way to call for help. She took a shaky breath. "Stay calm, think." Taehyung sat on the couch across from her, watching her like a predator, observing its prey. His dark shirt was slightly unbuttoned, the sleeves rolled up to his forearms, revealing the veins that ran along his strong hands. He looked relaxed, as if kidnapping a woman was just another business deal. YN clenched her fists. You can't just keep me here. He raised an eyebrow, taking a sip of his whiskey. I already am. Y/N, I'll never love you. A smirk tugged at his lips. You have a year to change your mind. Rage burned in her veins. I don't need a year. I need you to let me go. Taehyung leaned forward, placing his glass on the table. I don't think you understand. Pookie, you belong to me now. Her pulse spiked. I don't belong to anyone. His eyes darkened, something dangerous flickering in them. He stood up, walking toward her slowly. YN backed up against the headboard, her heart pounding. Taehyung placed his hands on either side of her, caging her in. His scent, expensive cologne mixed with something deeply masculine, clouded her senses. You don't remember me, do you? He murmured. She frowned. What? He tilted his head. Years ago, on the streets of Seoul, you saved me. Her brows knitted together. What are you talking about? A ghost of a smile appeared on his lips, but it didn't reach his eyes. You saw a boy being beaten in an alley. You stepped in. You didn't know who he was. Didn't care if you got hurt. You just wanted to help. YN's breath hitched. She did remember. Barely. A vague memory of running into an alleyway, screaming at some thugs to stop hurting a boy before she was dragged away by her friends. Her stomach twisted. That was you. Taehyung nodded. Since that day, you've lived in my head, rent-free. His fingers brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. And now, you'll live with me for real. YN shuddered at his touch. She hated how her body reacted to him, how his deep voice sent shivers down her spine, how his piercing gaze made her feel caged, yet strangely alive. She needed to escape. The next morning, YN woke up to find a note on the bedside table. Get dressed. Breakfast is downstairs. Don't make me come get you. T. Her stomach churned. She wanted to tear the note apart, but an idea sparked in her mind. If he was letting her roam around, she could find a way out. YN dressed quickly, slipping on a simple dress. She opened the door cautiously. To her surprise, there were no guards outside. Her heartbeat picked up. As she stepped into the hallway, she took in her surroundings. The mansion was enormous. Marble floors, expensive paintings, large windows that revealed a breathtaking view of the ocean. And then she saw it. The front door. Swallowing hard, she forced herself to walk normally, praying that no one would stop her. 10 steps. 5, 3. Her fingers wrapped around the doorknob. But before she could twist it, a deep voice rumbled behind her. Where do you think you're going? Her entire body stiffened. Slowly, she turned. Taehyung stood there, hands in his pockets, an amused yet dark expression on his face. You really thought I'd leave the front door unlocked? He mused, stepping closer. You're cute. YN took a step back, her heart hammering. You said I could leave after a year. What if I don't want to stay, even a second longer? His smile faded. That's not an option. Her throat dried. You can't force me to love you. Taehyung stopped right in front of her, tilting her chin up with a finger. Maybe not, he murmured, but I can make you want to stay. A shiver ran through her. I'll never love you, she whispered. Taehyung smirked. We'll see. YN's heart pounded against her ribs as Taehyung's fingers lightly traced her jawline. His touch wasn't rough, but it wasn't gentle either. It was possessive, a silent reminder that he was in control. You can try to run, Pookie, he murmured, his voice dangerously soft. But I'll always catch you. YN swallowed hard, refusing to let him see how much he affected her. You're insane. His lips curled into a smirk. Maybe. He leaned in, his breath hot against her ear. But you'll learn to enjoy it. Her stomach twisted. She hated this, hated the way her body reacted to him, despite the situation. She should be terrified, but there was something about Taehyung's presence, his deep voice, the way he looked at her like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. That made her feel trapped in more ways than one. You'll never have me, she whispered. Taehyung tilted his head, studying her. Then he straightened and stepped back. Get ready, we're leaving. YN blinked. Leaving where? He shot her an amused look. You'll see. Time skip. YN found herself on a private jet. The luxurious interior should have been enough to distract her, but her mind was racing. Where is he taking me? Taehyung sat across from her, casually sipping his drink, his dark eyes never leaving her. Relax, he said. I told you I won't touch you unless you want me to. YN scoffed, crossing her arms, as if that day will ever come. He smirked. We'll see, Pookie. After hours of flying, the jet landed on a private island. The moment she stepped off, the salty ocean breeze hit her, making her dress flutter. YN turned to Taehyung. Why are we here? He grabbed her chin gently, forcing her to look up at him. Because I want you to see what life could be like with me. Days passed on the island. YN was given freedom, sort of. She could explore the private beach, enjoy the villa, even swim in the infinity pool. But escaping, impossible. And Taehyung, he was always near, always watching. One evening, after a few glasses of wine at dinner, YN found herself laughing at something Taehyung said. She quickly caught herself, frowning. "You're not supposed to be funny," he smirked. "And you're not supposed to like me." She rolled her eyes and stood up. "I'm going to bed." As she turned, Taehyung grabbed her wrist, pulling her against him. "Not so fast, Pookie." Her breath caught. They were too close. His scent, intoxicating, musky, undeniably male, clouded her senses. "You can hate me all you want," he murmured, his lips inches from hers. "But we both know you feel this too." YN's pulse spiked. She should push him away. She should slap him, but she didn't. Instead, she whispered, "I'll never fall for you." Taehyung smiled darkly. "Then why aren't you pulling away?" Her heart pounded. She had no answer, because, deep down, she didn't want to. Time skip. The tension between them had been unbearable for days. YN hated the way Taehyung looked at her, like he already owned her. But what infuriated her more was the way her body reacted, the way her pulse spiked whenever he got too close, the way her skin tingled when his fingers brushed against hers. She refused to admit it, but a dark thought had crept into her mind. What if she tested him? If he wanted her so badly, why not make him suffer? That night, she slipped into a silk nightgown, one that barely covered her thighs. She left her hair down, letting the waves cascade over her shoulders. She stepped into Taehyung's room without knocking. He was sitting on the couch, sipping a drink, his shirt unbuttoned just enough to show the sculpted lines of his chest. He looked up lazily, his eyes instantly darkening as they trailed over her body. YN smirked and walked toward him, swaying her hips just enough. Taehyung leaned back, watching her with intrigue. "What are you doing, Pookie?" She stopped in front of him, placing a hand on his chest. "You want me, don't you?" she whispered, letting her fingers trail down his torso. Taehyung inhaled sharply, his jaw tightening. YN smirked. "Got him." She leaned in, her lips just inches from his. "Then take me." For a second, he didn't move. Then, suddenly, he grabbed her wrists and flipped her onto the bed. A gasp escaped her lips as he hovered over her, his breath heavy, his body pressed dangerously close to hers. His eyes burned with something dark and feral. But instead of kissing her, he pulled out a pair of handcuffs from the bedside drawer. Before she could react, her wrists were bound to the headboard. "Taehyung." His lips brushed her ear as he whispered, "I told you, Pookie. I won't touch you unless you beg for it." Her breath hitched. Then, to her horror, he stepped away. The door opened, and a woman walked in. She was tall, beautiful, dressed in nothing but black lace underwear. YN's stomach twisted. "What is this?" Taehyung smirked as he sat back on the couch. "You wanted to play games, so let's play." The woman knelt in front of him, her hands trailing up his thighs. YN's body went rigid as she watched Taehyung lean back, allowing the woman to touch him. Her heart pounded, anger and jealousy mixing into something almost unbearable. She yanked at the cuffs, but they wouldn't budge. Taehyung glanced at her, his expression unreadable. "If you don't want to watch, close your eyes." Her blood boiled. She didn't want to watch, but she couldn't look away. And Taehyung knew it. He was in control. YN's wrists ached as she struggled against the handcuffs, but it wasn't the restraints that made her feel trapped. It was the scene unfolding before her. Taehyung sat on the couch, his legs spread, his expression lazy yet sharp, as the woman in lingerie ran her hands over his thighs. YN clenched her jaw. She refused to let him see how much it affected her. YN thought, "He's just trying to mess with you. Don't give him the satisfaction." She forced herself to smirk, tilting her head. "I didn't know you needed other women to satisfy you. Taehyung, should I feel bad for you?" His eyes flickered with something dangerous, but he didn't respond. Instead, he leaned back further, allowing the woman to trail kisses down his neck. YN swallowed hard. A dull ache settled in her chest, twisting into something ugly, something she didn't want to name. Jealousy.